Hi, welcome to High School Challenge 2013. This is our 36th year at Tompkins Cortland Community College holding academic competition. And one of the teams that was here the first year that we held it, Homer, is with us, and Horseheads. It's the 1 seed against the 8 seed. Let's meet the 8-seeded Homer team and their captain, Jasminique Harris.
Hello, I'm Jasminique. I'm a senior at Homer. I'm the president of my school's SAD, historian of student government, and secretary of my class.
Hi, my name is Sarah Meddy. I'm a senior in Homer High School, and I love art and hope to be a fashion designer someday.
Hi, I'm Allie Jenkins. I'm a junior at Homer High School, and I'm involved in dance and youth and government.
My name is Eric Gustafson. I'm a junior at Homer High School, and I'm very active in music, theater, and musical theater.
Combining the two. And the team from Homer is coached by Tammy Stokey and Nick Patriarco. All right, now let's meet the team from Horseheads and their captain, Tim Claypool.
I'm Tim. I'm a senior, and I like taking long walks on the beach.
I'm Joseph. I'm a junior, and I just like to read.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a junior, and I love superheroes.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I love languages. I'm a freshman at Horseheads, and I love languages.
Both, yes. Team from Horseheads is coached by Pam Doran. All right, we're ready to start. We start off with toss-ups as always, 5 and 10 pointers, hands on buzzers. Here we go. It has 3 lines and a total of 17 syllables. What's this poetic form?
Horseheads, Tim.
Haiku.
Haiku is correct, Tim, for 5. Here's a 10-pointer. Leo Szilard criticized this hypothesis by noting that gathering information expends energy, and therefore the second law of thermodynamics is not violated. What is this thought experiment in which the tidal creature allows fast-moving particles through a trapdoor, first theorized by the formulator of 4 electromagnetic laws?
Horseheads, Tim.
Planck.
I'm sorry, no. Can you take it, Homer? It is Maxwell's demon. For 5 points, if something is described as gossamer, is it welcome, delicate, foolish, or threatening?
Homer, Jasminique.
Delicate.
It is, in fact, delicate. Both teams on the board early. For 10 points, the expeditions he planned eventually led to the slave trade because he trained seamen to explore the west coast of Africa, where the trade began. Who was this 15th century Portuguese prince?
Horseheads, Tim.
Prince Henry the Navigator.
Prince Henry the Navigator is correct for 10. For 10 points, many people think it's a necessary part of applying this word to yourself, but you don't have to be a graduate of a school to be this.
Homer, Eric.
Alumni?
Sorry, no, I'll finish it. What Latin word merely means pupil or foster son? The singular is alumnus. For 5 points, the penalty spot in soccer is how many meters from the goal line?
Horseheads, Tim.
7.
Not
meters.
7. Can you take it, Homer?
Homer, Eric.
15?
It is 11. I have a visual toss-up now. I want you to watch your monitor and tell me which word can directly follow these 3.
Homer, Jasminique.
Band.
Band is correct. Jazz band, marching band, or rubber band. For 5 points, this theorem's namesake triples can be calculated from its relation of leg lengths to the hypotenuse.
Homer, Eric.
Pythagorean?
That is correct for 5. Here's a 10-pointer. It's a major honor for a high school band to be invited to march in the Parade of Roses, which is held on the streets of what Los Angeles?
Horseheads, Tim.
Pasadena.
Pasadena is correct, Tim. Here's a 5-pointer. The body of these cells is called the soma, and they possess dendrites and axons. What are these specialized cells that connect to each other to form networks?
Homer, Sarah.
Nerve cells.
Nerve cells, neurons, or neurons. We would have accepted any of those. That brings us to the end of a well-played first round. Scott, what's our score after 1 round?
Very well played round. Very close game so far. Horseheads 25, Homer 20.
All right, only 5 points separating the team. Homer, you'll have first bid in the answer auction. Here's the answer auction question. There are 13 chemical elements which have been given names that honor famous scientists. How many of those elements can you name? While they're deciding on their opening bids, I'll tell the folks at home that the team with the highest bid must then give that number of correct answers without giving an incorrect answer in order to earn 40 points. If they can't do that, then the other team needs to give only one correct answer not already given to earn 20. And if they can't do that, the original high bidding team gets the 20 points. So we'll ask what your opening bid is, please, Jasminique.
1.
They bid 1. Will you go 2, Tim?
We will go 2.
Will you go 3?
Yes.
They'll go 3. Will you go
4.
4? They'll go 4. Will you go 5?
No.
Okay. Give me 4, please, Tim. Chemical elements named for famous scientists.
Einsteinium,
1,
fermium,
2,
seaborgium,
3,
Rutherfordium,
4. The others: borium, copernicium, curium, fluorovium, gadolinium, meitnerium, mendelevium, nobelium, rentgenium. Those are the others.
That's 40 points for Horseheads in the answer auction round, giving them a 65-20 lead after 2 rounds.
All right, thank you, Scott. We'll be back with toss-ups and bonuses in our next round on TC3's High School Challenge 2013. Scott, is that score official?
Yes, it is. 65-20 in favor of Horseheads going into the bonus round.
All right. We now, if you answer a toss-up correctly in this round, your team gets a chance at a 20-point bonus. First bonus is in the category of the Olympic Games. Here's the toss-up for 10. In order to reach this state, matter must undergo the lambda transition, and it has been discovered in helium-3 and helium-4. What is this condition in which extremely cold matter loses?
Horseheads, Tim.
superfluidity.
That's correct, Tim, for 10. Loses resistance to flow. Here's your Olympic Games bonus, Horsehead. They were the first to be televised in 1936. We're talking about the Summer Olympics held in which European city?
Berlin.
That's correct. The modern Olympics were canceled in 1916 because of World War I. They had been scheduled to take place in which European city?
Paris.
Berlin again.
Wow.
Trick question. The next Winter Olympic Games will be held in what year and in what city?
In 2014 in Copenhagen.
I'm sorry, no. It's Sochi, Russia. And finally, the previous Winter Games took place in 2010 in which country?
Canada.
Canada, eh? That's correct for 10. Or
That's
for 5.
10 points on the bonus.
Thank you, Scott. The next bonus is in the category the physics of springs. Here's the 10-point toss-up. In the epic poem Martin Fierro, the title character tells of his life as a gaucho and his flight into Indian territory. The author of Martin Fierro was Jose Hernandez, a native of which South American country?
Horseheads, Tim.
Argentina.
Argentina is correct. As soon as we said gaucho, you probably thought Argentina, and you were right. Here's your bonus in the physics of springs. Identify the following about the physics of springs from the information I give you. First, this law relates the force a spring exerts to the displacement of the spring from its equilibrium position.
Pass.
The answer is Hooke's law. In Hooke's law, the force equals the negative of the spring constant times the displacement raised to this power.
The fifth.
No, the first. For a spring, this type of energy is given by 1/2 times the spring constant times the displacement squared.
Kinetic energy.
Sorry, no, it's elastic or potential energy. And finally, this term refers to a force that causes the amplitude of a spring's oscillations to decay over time.
I have no clue.
It is damping.
No points there for Horseheads.
Didn't like that much at all. Let's see what you do with the next one. Next one is Declaration of Independence. For 10 points, this toss-up. February 13, 2013 was the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which made what a part of...
Horseheads, Tim.
Income taxes. The
Yes,
IRS.
That's correct. And here's your bonus in the category Declaration of Independence. Congress voted for independence on July 2nd, 1776, but only 2 members of Congress signed it on July 4th. Whose was the first and most flamboyant signature?
John Hancock.
That's correct. What are the first 7 words of the Declaration?
In the course of human events.
I'm sorry, no. When in the course of human events.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson gets most of the credit for writing it, but 4 other men were on the committee given the task. Name any of the 4.
James Madison.
Sorry, John Adams, Ben Franklin, Robert Livingston, and Roger Sherman. And finally, on June 7th, 1776, what Virginian presented to Congress a 3-part resolution calling for independence from the British Crown?
Patrick Henry Lee.
Richard Henry Lee.
That is 5 points for Horseheads.
Shakespeare, the category of your next bonus. Here's the toss-up for 10 points. Warfarin counteracts this vitamin's effect, preventing it from participating in the formation of prothrombin. Name this fat-soluble vitamin found in leafy green vegetables, which is necessary for the synthesis of blood clotting factors.
Horseheads, Joseph.
Vitamin K.
Vitamin K is correct, Joseph, for 10 points. And here's your bonus in the category Shakespeare. I want you to identify the Shakespeare play from the following plot summaries. In France, Helena cures the king, but chooses to marry Bertram, tricking him to gain his ring and bear his child.
Othello.
I'm sorry, that's all's well that ends well. Rosalind, Orlando, Duke Frederick, Touchstone, and Audrey are characters in this play, which features the All the World's a Stage speech.
The Tempest.
As You Like It. Viola disguises herself as a boy. Olivia marries Viola's twin brother Sebastian, while Sir Toby Belch and Sir Andrew Eggcheek provide low comedy.
What's it called?
Captain?
Taming of the Shrew.
It is Twelfth Night. And finally, Valentine and Proteus are the main protagonists of this play, set in the title city in Italy.
The Two Gentlemen of Verona.
That is correct.
That's 5 points on the bonus.
And that brings us to the end of round 3. Scott, what's our score after 3 rounds of play?
After 3 rounds, Horseheads 125, Homer 20.
All right, we're coming back with the category round where scores can change rapidly. And the teams will be playing with these 4 categories: ordinal numbers, pick a number from 1 to 10, how many, and 1600. We'll be back in a moment to see which categories they choose and how well they do with them on TC3's High School Challenge 2013.
Look at you, so dashing. Come on. Nowadays, lots of people go by themselves.
No, they don't.
Hey, son. Have fun tonight.
Scott, is that score official?
Yes, it is, Brooks. Horseheads 125, Homer 20.
All right, a chance to come back, Homer, and get back in the game. You get the choice of those 4 categories, which, to remind you, were ordinal numbers. Pick a number from 1 to 10, how many, and 1600. Jasminique, what are you choosing?
How many?
How many? Okay. Ready with the timer? Start the timer, please. How many furlongs are there in 1.5 miles?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 6.
No. How many years passed between the Declaration of Independence and Lincoln's Gettysburg Address?
87.
Yes. How many distinct solutions are there to the equation x to the 5th minus x equals 0?
Do we have time, please? 5.
No. How many oxygen atoms are there in one molecule of nitric acid?
3.
3 is correct. How many legs does a crayfish have?
8.
No. How many NFL teams make the playoffs?
4.
No. How many of the first 3 U.S. presidents signed the Declaration of Independence?
1.
No. How many states formed the Confederate States of America?
7.
No. How many U.S. states begin with the letter M?
8. Oh.
Yes.
They got that last one in time, so 30 points for Homer.
Chance to steal 70, Homer, or Horseheads, if you can answer these. How many furlongs are there in a mile and a half, Tim?
8.
There are 12. A furlong is an eighth of a mile. How many distinct solutions
3.
are there? 3. How many legs does a crayfish have?
6.
It has 10. How many NFL teams make the playoffs?
8.
12. How many of the first 3 U.S. presidents signed the Declaration of Independence?
All 3 of them did.
No, 2 did. Washington didn't. How many states formed the Confederate States?
11.
13. How many, the last one that you didn't hear, how many of Henry VIII's wives outlived him?
1.
2, Anne of Cleves and Catherine Parr.
That's 10 second chance points for Horseheads.
So a chance now to pick your own category, Tim. What are you choosing?
Pick a number.
Pick a number from 1 to 10. Are you ready? Ready with the timer. Start the timer, please. What pre-automobile phrase describes a very small town or village?
Pass.
What 6-word aphorism declares the usefulness of collaboration?
Pass.
What is a turkey in bowling?
3 strikes.
More.
3 strikes in a row.
Yes. Who were Stuhldreher, Miller, Layden, and Crowley?
The 3 Stooges.
No. What began in the Soviet Union in 1928?
The first 5-year plan.
Yes. What book did Richard Nixon publish in 1962?
First.
No. Who were Thales, Pittacus, Bias, Solon, Cleobulus, Periander, and Kilo?
The 7 Scions.
I'm sorry, no. What standard did the International Labor Conference endorse in 1919?
The 40-hour work week.
I'm sorry, no. What Ben Franklin saying advocates prevention rather than repair?
A pound of prevention is worth an ounce of cure.
No.
That's 20 points for Horseheads.
Chance to steal 80 if you can answer these immediately, Homer. What pre-automobile phrase describes a very small town or village?
Pass.
It's a one-horse town. What 6-word aphorism declares the usefulness of collaboration?
You say it.
Say it to your captain.
2 heads are better than 1.
That's correct. Who were Stuhldreher, Miller, Layden, and Crowley?
Pass.
They were the 4 horsemen of Notre Dame. What book did Richard Nixon publish in 1962?
6 something.
6 something. You're beginning to see the pattern. 6 crises. Who were Thales, Pittacus, Bias, Solon, Cleobulus, Periander, and Kilo?
Pass.
They were the 7 wise men of Greece. What standard did the International Labor Conference endorse in 1919?
Numbers. What? 8-hour workdays?
8-hour workdays, correct. What Ben Franklin saying advocates prevention rather than repair?
An apple a day.
No, a stitch in time saves 9. And
One
finally,
apple and
the one you didn't hear, what was the original title of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None?
10 Little Indians.
10 Little Indians is correct.
30 second chance points for Homer.
Well, I know. You didn't. That brings us to the end of round 4. Scott, what's our score, please?
Homer has tightened it up considerably by outscoring Horseheads in that round. 155 to 80 now in favor
All right.
of Horseheads.
75 points separating the 2 teams, and we'll be coming back with nothing but toss-ups in our final round on TC3's High School Challenge 2013. Scott, is that score official?
Yes, it is. The number 1 seed Horseheads leads the number 8 seed Homer, 155-80, going into the final round.
All right, let's see what happens in our last round where we have hundreds and hundreds of points. We start with a 15-point toss-up. Hands on buzzers, no consultation. Here we go. The solution to both the tautochrone and brachistochrone problems, its area is 3 times that of the generating circle, and its length is 4 times the diameter of the generating circle. Name this curve traced by a fixed point on the edge of a circular object rolling along a straight line. It is a cycloid. For 15 points, Die Brücke, the bridge, was formed in 1905 in Dresden by a group of architecture students, and Der Blaue Reiter, the Blue Rider, was formed in Munich in 1911 in protest over the rejection of a Vasily Kandinsky painting by a new Artists Association exhibition. Both groups were major forces in the development of which 20th century art movement that originated in Germany and generally attempted to express emotional experience rather than physical reality.
Homer, Allie.
Impressionism.
I'm sorry, no. Can you take it? Horseheads.
Horseheads, Tim.
Surrealism?
It is expressionism. For 10 points, the waters of the Snake River rush through Hell's Canyon, the deepest gorge in the United States. The mountains of the Sawtooth Range, the Bitterroot Range, and the Lost River Range dominate the skyline of which western state known as the Gem State?
Horseheads, Tim.
Washington?
Not Washington. Can you take it, Homer?
Homer, Sarah.
Nevada.
It is Idaho. For 10 points, it's the shortest Shakespeare play and is generally considered a tribute to King James I. What is this play whose title spoken aloud in the theater is considered to bring bad luck?
Homer, Eric.
The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Macbeth, the Scottish play. For 10 points. Both Chinese and Japanese are tonal languages, with the pitch of the voice actually affecting the meaning of the word. Tonal languages are widespread on only one other continent, which is what?
Homer, Eric.
Africa.
Africa's correct for 10. Here's a 15-pointer. He served as both Secretary of the Treasury and Secretary of State in the late 19th century. His brother was a famous Union general. He's best known for his Senate sponsorship of 1890's Silver Purchase Act.
Homer, Eric.
William Jennings Bryan.
Sorry, no, we'll finish it. And the first antitrust legislation passed by Congress. Who was he?
Horseheads, Tim.
Sherman?
John Sherman is correct. For 10 points, the disagreement between this law and reality provided support for the idea of natural selection because it holds in the absence of migration, mutation, or selective mating. What's this doubly eponymous law of population genetics?
Horseheads, Joseph.
The Hardy-Weinberg theory? Or
The
equilibrium?
Hardy-Weinberg law, yes, we'll accept all of those. For 15 points, rather, I have an audio toss-up. I want you to listen to this and name either the group or the song. The answer is Procol Harum. That's a whiter shade of pale. It's back from acid rock, folks, back from way before you were born. For 15 points, its coral reef draws divers from all over the world. In 1961, after Hurricane Hattie devastated the capital city, a new capital named Belmopan was built 80 miles inland. Name this Western Hemisphere country which became an independent nation in 1981.
Homer, Sarah.
Australia.
I'm sorry, no, it's not Australia. Can you take it? Horseheads.
Horseheads, Nate.
Belize.
It is Belize, yes. For 15 points, Julius Caesar divorced his second wife, Pompeia, after she was accused of allowing a man into her home at a time when sacred women-only rites were taking place. This led to what saying in English that means people in the public eye must at least appear to be blameless?
Horseheads, Tim.
Vox Populi?
I'm sorry, no. Can you take it, Homer? The saying, we'll call time, the saying is Caesar's wife must be above suspicion. For 10 points, plots corresponding to this procedure display at least one inflection point. Requirements for mundane forms of the procedure. We've run out of time, so we will ask, what is our final score, please, Scott?
Horseheads advances to the semifinals for the second straight year with a 195-100 win over Homer.
Okay, very well played, both teams. We'll be back to validate the score and say goodbye to our friends on TC3's High School Challenge 2013. Hi, what's our final score, please, Scott?
Horseheads to the semifinals with a 195-100 win over Homer.
Okay, Homer, you played very well, scored 100 points against a very tough team. Horseheads, we thank you for coming in. You're going to come back and play in the semifinals, and we look forward to seeing that. Thank you for watching High School Challenge. We'll see you again here next time. Bye-bye, everyone.